So once again, I don't actually know what I'm supposed to be talking about this week. I asked my friends slash co-workers slash people that I know, for topics of what I could talk about, and they suggested this one that I'm gonna get into. So why don't we take it away with hello and welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt as always, and yes, that was a very weird segue because we're talking about takeaway, or rather just kind of junk food in general, I suppose. So let's get into it. Let's not mess around too much. Messing around, not actually getting into it. See what I did there? Right, so I suppose the first thing is Friday nights. At home, Friday night for us, in terms of what we have in dinner, is chip shop night because we are British, and apparently that's the rule of thumb. The unwritten law is that Friday night is fish and chip shop night. And I believe in the past we used to buy everything from the chip shop outside of baked beans and mushy peas, which are UK things. But I imagine they have baked beans at least other places. I don't know about mushy peas. I think mushy peas are specifically a UK thing. But yeah, we'd buy them specifically from a supermarket, and then we get chips and whatever item, i.e. fish, alongside it. That's expensive, not gonna lie, because chip shops are generally not cheap because they're doing all of the work for you, and they're sourcing the fish, they're cooking it, they're keeping it warm and whatnot. If they're buying things like pies, or if they're doing a kebab, or just those general things, it's gonna be expensive. So we did eventually switch to doing our own thing on a Friday night. So we generally buy chips because you cannot get chip shop chips at home. I don't even think if you had a deep fat fryer, you could get chip shop chips at home. It's just not a thing you can do. You need to be trained by some sage about how to properly do this, I think. So that would be the only thing we buy because they're not too expensive. Then we would cook the main item to go with it. So, you can get some frozen fish, some frozen battered fish or breaded fish from the supermarket. You can get scampi that's battered. You could get fish fingers if you really want. You can buy pies. You can buy, I quite like buying some breaded southern fried chicken. That's quite nice on a Friday night. Yeah, just that kind of way. And in theory, it should be a little bit healthier. It's not super healthy, but it should be healthier because you bake it in an oven. It's not deep fried. And it's a lot cheaper, than having to buy everything from the chip shop. Myself personally, whilst I was at university, I mixed it up quite a bit with what I had on a Friday night. Sometimes I bought from the local takeaway. So where we lived in my second year and beyond, there was this really weird but good takeaway. I'd guess a 5 to 10 minute walk from our house. It was amazing, stupid cheap food, but really good food. Probably super unhealthy and maybe not. I don't know. It seemed like a dodgy place, but they were really nice people, and the food was always really good, so I'm not complaining. Sometimes I'd buy some food from there. Occasionally, what I would do is I'd buy a frozen pizza or a fridge pizza from the supermarket, because I'd go shopping on a Friday, whenever I could, so that left the weekend open. And if I then thought, I want a pizza, just buy a pizza and eat an entire pizza for my Friday tea. Haha. Can we just get into that briefly? The whole discrepancy with what you call the meals in the day. I call it two different things because what my family brought me up and then what my brain decided was a better solution. I think it should be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's no ambiguity in that. My parents call lunch dinner, and the evening meal they call it tea sometimes, but it's not tea as in the drink, it's tea as in the meal, and it's stupid and confusing and I hate it. I digress. Sometimes I would eat a whole pizza for my dinner, evening meal, tea, whatever you want to call it. And it was glorious. Sit there, eating away, having anime or something on the TV downstairs in the living room. It was great, loved it. Also, whenever you get pizzas from a supermarket, you always have to cook them way less right. I don't know if it was just our oven or something, but if you followed the instructions, i.e. the correct temperature and time that they tell you to cook it for, it was going to be black. It was going to be burnt and horrible. And one of my housemates used to do that and get it to that point and eat it like it was gourmet food. I was looking at them like, you must be insane. If it said something like 18 minutes long, I'd do it for 10. I'd do it for nearly half the time because that's what I found was correct. And we never understood if it was our oven specifically, but I've had similar scenarios with this elsewhere. So I think it's just a manufacturer thing that they tell you a way too long time so that they can't be sued for food poisoning or anything. So yeah, not ideal. My housemate sometimes would buy takeaway on a Friday night as well because he couldn't be bothered to cook, which does kind of slide into Saturday nights. Now, Saturday nights, both here and when I was at university on my own with my housemates, Saturday night is takeout night, and oh baby, that's good. We kind of do a sort of mixed thing at home. We'll tend to buy the complicated part of a takeout dish from somewhere. So like, if we're having Indian curry, for example, trying to make a proper Indian curry for us is difficult as hell. So we'll buy the main curry from a local place that does it and that we enjoy. And then we can whip up some rice, or buy some naan breads from the supermarket. We found some naan breads from Lidl specifically that we really like. I really like personally as well. So we can get them. They're quite cheap. When I was at university, however, we just bought from a takeout because we were lazy. We were students, the way we did it is, instead of having to constantly try and split the bill between each person every Saturday, we just rotated because there were 3 of us. And generally the order was about the same each time. Sometimes it was less, sometimes it was more, but in theory it would have evened out if we, calculated it, but we didn't really mind because it was only ever like a couple quid either way. So we just rotated who paid for what. And that kind of generally got you the advantage of saying, oh, I'm in the mood for this, I'm paying, is that all right with you guys? Like if you're in the mood for a burger, you go to a burger place, and as long as everyone else is fine with having a burger or whatever the burger place offers, cool. This led to a couple interesting scenarios. So the first thing is that local place I told you about just a minute ago. We used to order exclusively from there because they did chicken wraps, they did chicken burgers, they did normal burgers, they did a lasagna, they did pizza. They did so many different options that literally every time we went, we were like, well, there's something that all of us wants from here. Why not? And it's cheap. Plus, it's so close that even if we got it delivery because we were being really friggin' lazy, it would arrive in like 5-10 minutes because it was just around the corner. It's great. But eventually that place got shut down. Don't know why. Maybe they just went out of business or something. So we had to start looking elsewhere. And I distinctly remember one week, it was just me and one of my other housemates. And he was like, I really want Chinese food. And our other housemate who'd gone home for the weekend didn't like complicated food, is the best way to put it. He was not a fan of Chinese food or Indian food or any of like Asian cuisine, basically, which kind of shuts down a lot of takeaways. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm down for Chinese. I haven't had Chinese in months. Literally, I only have Chinese when I go home. I'm still a bit fussy with Asian cuisine as well because there's a lot of things that are based on seafood, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I was like, I love chow mein. I friggin' love chow mein, so that's what I'm having. It was the best chow mein of my life. The best. The noodles, the taste, the chicken, it was fantastic. I'm not even joking. The chicken was so juicy, I thought it was exploding liquid into my mouth, and it was frigging amazing. There was so much of it as well. It was this huge takeaway container, a really deep one, like maybe 3-4 inches deep, completely packed with this chow mein. I couldn't eat it all in the one night. I had to have half of it and then put the rest in the fridge. And you'd think, when you put something in the fridge and then it's been sat around for a day and then you reheat it, it's like not as good, but it's pretty decent because it was a quick meal and you don't care. No. I reheated that in the microwave, the most dirty way of reheating food, and it was still just as good. It was so damn juicy. I was like, how? How is it still juicy after being sat around for a day in the fridge and then microwaved? Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Sadly, we never then went back there because we never had that opportunity, but oh my goodness, that was a very good night. I think I either then went and played video games or did my classic sit in bed and watch a film with popcorn. You've never known pure bliss unless you sit in a room with like a nightlight or a lamp on, you're in bed, you've got headphones on, your laptop, you're all cozy and snuggly, and you've got a bowl of popcorn watching a film by yourself. It's amazing. Absolutely wonderful. Highly recommend. Yeah. The other thing that we did with takeaways is I'm quite a chicken person, as evidenced by the chow mein story. I really like my chicken stuff, and I really like fried chicken. Specifically, I'm a bit of an advocate for KFC, not gonna lie. I'm a bit of a sap when it comes to KFC chicken. Really like it. But it is expensive. That's the thing. And I'm particular when it comes to chicken burgers. So depending on the takeout place that we went to, a chicken burger to them was either a glorified chicken nugget or a proper chicken breast or chicken thigh or just a proper piece of chicken that's been breaded and fried and done correctly, in my opinion. And there was this one place that we eventually landed on, because I'd gone to multiple different places now and tried their chicken sandwiches. We got to this one place. Oh my. It was amazing. I don't know what they did, but one, it had a proper piece of chicken that was breaded, battered, fried correctly, had this really nice flavor on its own, really juicy, really tender. The bun, nice, structural, sound, very good. And then they had like mayonnaise in it, or some sort of burger sauce that was like a little bit spicy, but had like a good flavor and it was creamy. And then this is the thing that I only discovered on this journey, a hash brown. Mind blown. Absolutely mind blown. You whack a hash brown in a chicken sandwich? Amazing. How had I never tried this before until that point? I can never go back because it is so good. I've also just peeked the microphone because of how excited I was. So, yeah, I'm very sad now because that place will only deliver on that side of town, and I am nowhere near that. So I found out like months later that people knew this place near my house that I lived in second, third, and fourth year, and they were like, "Oh my." It's so good. It's really good. Yeah. I made some really weird noises then. I'm very sorry about that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed listening about takeaway. Food's always good. Food is always a great talking point if you're ever trying to like start a conversation with someone. So, you know. Anyway, stay safe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.